Our next stop is Johnson's Crossing, located on the Little Atlin Lake. But first, we have about 200 miles of low-lying forest skirting many lakes. This is some of the boggy, marshy areas we saw in pictures at Watson Lake, and we will see at other historical exhibits. Riding on a nice, elevated, paved highway, it is difficult to put yourself in those pictures where the GIs worked at the time this road was built. The highway follows along Teslin Lake for about 60 miles before we enter into another watershed and arrive at Johnson's Crossing. This bridge is one of several long bridges that had to be built across wide rivers. First, the Army built pontoon bridges, followed by some wooden bridges, and then steel bridges when Canada took over the highway after World War II. This town is not much more than a wide spot in the road, but like Fort Henry, this Johnson Crossing Museum was a perfect break and far exceeded our expectations in discovering the life and history of this remote trapping area. Decorated totem poles greet us at the entrance, and soon we are thrust back 100 years in time. Some scenes here from the 1930s, the furniture and displays that were at the time. Wooden washing machines were a luxury. A trapper's cabin is very small, and during the winter, days were short for them to check their trap lines. Confined in this small space during the long winter nights would be a challenge for most of us today. This fine display shows the tools needed to survive. A most interesting part is these moose horns locked in mortal combat, and death by starvation or wolves follows. These locked horns are found in several northern displays. Other displays of wildlife, their boat that they used. Of course, no display would be complete without snowshoes. Beaver were a key element in this area, and the beaver pelts brought a handsome price, used in many coats. Here is a robe that is quite well done. In this particular scene here, you see the mucklocks in the upper right-hand corner. This was a popular footwear. And of course, a beautiful blanket that was handmade by the natives, and there was a lot of these kind of crafts. George Johnson apparently earned a good living as a merchant and a sideline photographer in this isolated area. He wanted to be the first to have a car in the Yukon, and so bought a Model A Ford and floated it down the river to here. He then built 3 miles of road to drive it on in the summer, and in the winter drove it on frozen rivers. The natives built long boats for fishing and to keep invaders at bay. Maneuvering these boats would be challenging. And here are some longer boats that we're seeing, really long, and I would think would be a real challenge to maneuver. Canada has some wonderful campgrounds, and there was one next door, the perfect place to end the day.